It's one thing to be a flop, it's one thing to be a failure. But The Mandalorian and Grogu is a whole different matter for Star Wars. The so-called triumphant return after 7 years to the silver screen after 3 weeks has Disney executives screaming behind the scenes. Now, it's out of the top 5. And basically, Star Wars has died in just about 18 days. Hello, folks. Hello, friends. Welcome back yet again. It's a pleasure as ever. We endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and what a joy it is. But there is no joy in Mudville, nor in Tatooine, nor in Lucasfilm, nor in the tumult that Kathleen has left. The wake is here, and the funeral perhaps very close. Hercules Strong has this one, folks, and we need you to be strong. Click that like button. Star Wars top critic score. I'm going to go to the box office in just a minute, but I need to show you this because people are starting to talk, and it's about to get really ugly. Hercules Strong says, Grogu is the first movie ever written by Dave Filoni. Filoni also directed 2008's The Clone Wars, the worst reviewed Star Wars movie in history. Filoni was named Lucasfilm's chief creative officer in 2023. He now oversees the creation of all scripts for its movie division. And that's right, folks. If you go back and you look at all the Star Wars movies, a lot of people don't talk about this one, but they should. And we should now. The Clone Wars is an animated film that was released from Lucasfilm, Star Wars, by Dave Filoni, and it has a critic score of 13%. Now, I know that The Last Jedi is the top, and you know why. Because the critics are corrupt and they're ideological. And we understand that, right? I mean, there's no way on God's green earth that The Last Jedi is anywhere close to A New Hope or The Empire Strikes Back, right? No. But even The Clone Wars was so bad that the critics could not try to save it. And frankly, back then they didn't care to, right? Because it wasn't part of Disney. It wasn't part of the machine yet. So how's Dave Filoni performing now? Remember, he's got the lowest critically received film ever. Well, it turns out audiences are just, it's over. It's dead. It's dead. It's colder than dead. Rigor mortis, thy name is Grogu. From Forbes by Tim Lammers, Mandalorian and Grogu tumbles out of top 5 after 61% drop at the box office. And folks, remember, this dropped more than 70% in weekend number 2, which makes it very difficult to drop these kinds of numbers back to back. So a 60% plus drop after a 70% drop? Well, we told you this was coming. And it's here. Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu's box office woes are continuing after the film dives another 61% in business and drops out of the domestic top 5 in its third weekend in theaters. And that really is the pain point for Disney. It's not that it's a flop. It's not that it's a failure. It's not that it proves Star Wars is in a very, very bad place. What it is the humiliation of dropping to 3 in the second weekend when Star Wars had never been in the second spot in a second weekend, dropping all the way to 3, and now it's out of the top 5. And what that means is, you can fail. But this is, in terms of, facing competition, it's worse than Snow White. It might be worse than the Marvels. Not in terms of pure dollars and tickets sold, but it's worse in terms of it's losing to Scary Movie. Directed by Jon Favreau, the feature film continuation, the hit Disney Plus TV series, had a soft opening at the box office over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend. You all remember that. We don't have to, but listen. It says, unfortunately for Disney, things are going from bad to worse in the Mando and Grogu movie's third weekend in theaters. Deadline projects the film is heading for a 9.5 million take. And again, every negative milestone it can hit, it's hitting it. So third weekend, failing to make 10 mil. It's like, is there a way we can make this look worse from a PR standpoint? And that's why I think they're going to stop talking about it now. It says, should the projection hold, it will boost the Mandalorian and Grogu's running domestic tally to 155.3. And here's the other thing, right? We are now looking, I think, at a scenario where Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, has a difficult time getting to 200 million domestic. Because again, what I need everybody to understand is, after weekend 3, it's over. It's just over. What is it going to do? It's going to be at 7th place, 8th place, and the theaters, they're dropping it. We told you in a video earlier that theaters are dropping this, and they're going to drop it with, vigor. Let's call it that, okay? Take a look at the daily on Friday, all right? Where Star Wars dropped to 6. And understand when Star Wars drops to 6, it is losing to the amazing digital circus, The Last Act. Again, it is losing to the amazing digital circus, The Last Act. Star Wars has 3,300 theaters. The average theater amount of money that it's making is $745, which is shockingly bad. It is shockingly bad. Anything lower than 1,000 for Star Wars in week 3 is just, it's unbelievable. Meanwhile, for the theaters, that are showing Scary Movie, 3,500 of those, they're making more than $7,000 per theater. And I just want people to understand that's not great. Blockbusters often make well over $10,000 per theater. And Masters of the Universe, this is the other thing that you got to understand about Star Wars. Masters of the Universe, whatever you may think of it, whatever the reviews might be, Masters of the Universe actually is underperforming where many people thought it would be, right? It's going to struggle to get to 25. So we're looking at competition that is exceedingly weak. And even as the competition is exceedingly weak, Star Wars is still underperforming somehow. The Mandalorian, in spite of going up against competition that is not so competitive, it's still managing to just limp to the ground. And now, folks, if we look at this, I'm going to show you, this is the graph you got to see. Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu is now at 258. And by the time the numbers get tallied today, it's going to be at 261-ish, okay? At 261-ish, what you need to understand is this. Look at this chart and just take it in, okay? And this is what has the executives at Disney panicking. I'm going to count the number of days this actually did anything in theaters. Day 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This movie did something for 10 days at the box office. And what do we see after day 10? Folks, do you see this line and how slowly it is moving upward? Essentially, this film has already flatlined. So when I say that the movie is dead, I'm not just making this up for you. I'm not just pretending. This is not some declaration of hyperbole intended to make you think, oh, it's another one of these Star Wars is dead videos like we've done for years from all these channels. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's flatlined after 10 days at the box office. And there's no way now that it's going to get better. This isn't going to suddenly start jumping back up again. We're really going to hit the flat. And when we hit the flat, what you've got to understand is, okay, here we are. We're at 148. Look how it's been just, is the word dribbling, trickling, whatever you want to call it, 136, 139, 142, 144, 145, 148. It's going to get to 152-ish. 153-ish at the end of the weekend. And then we're in that point where it may take multiple days to get another million added. And I am now thinking strongly that this film may not reach the $200 million mark domestically. It's going to be a slog to get there. And it really just depends on how long does Disney leave it in. Like, is Disney willing to force this thing to get to over 200 and beg the theaters, please give it 500 screens, please? Like, is this going to compete with Toy Story just so it can get $200 million? And I'm not sure that's the case. I'm not sure they want that anymore. I think they may actually want this thing to bow out and get out of there so they can just say, geez, Louise. So here's the problem. And people are talking about this. People are saying, well, it doesn't need as much money as they say and blah, blah, blah. Folks, THR told us that this thing needs $500 to $600 million to break even. We're 260. There's no way it's getting to 350. In a best case scenario, this thing is going to be $150 million shy of break even. Now that's just bonkers to be 150 shy, and likely it's going to be 250 to 300 shy. A Star Wars film after 7 years, and the excuses are going to fly now. The excuses are going to fly. They're going to say, well, this is a TV show. This is a TV show, so it doesn't count. They're going to say, well, it's not a Skywalker saga film. Well, I'm sorry, are we making more of those now? Are we making more of those? And here's the thing. It's blame game time. It's blame game time, and here it is. You can see the blame. We're looking at it together, you and I. I had wondered where this was going to go. I had wondered, was it going to be Favreau who takes the hit? Was it going to be Lucasfilm in general, Disney? And the answer, ladies and gentlemen, is no. I think it's Filoni. And I think that he's got Starfighter and Ahsoka, and if Starfighter and Ahsoka don't land, and we're talking about season 2 of Ahsoka, I think Disney's ready to cut ties. I think there's nobody in a hot seat hotter than Dave Filoni right now. Jon Favreau can go. Jon Favreau made $2 billion with The Lion King CGI. You think Disney's going to throw him aside? No, they're not going to throw him aside. So who's the casualty here? Well, there's 2 of them. I've talked about Dave Filoni. Filoni's definitely in the hot seat, the big hot seat. And if this could have eked its way into respectability, it could flop. But like we've said from the beginning of this video, this is a different level of flop now. I mean, we're losing to digital circus. So that puts Filoni in the hot seat. The other casualty of this is, of course, Pedro Pascal. And we're not talking about that enough, right? Sigourney Weaver's going to be fine. Grogu's going to have an illustrious career. I'm sure he'll go work with Rachel Zegler on Broadway. I'm kidding. But Pedro Pascal, the year of Pedro, and all that effort, all that marketing effort that went into making Pedro Pascal be a big thing. Ooh, Pedro's he's the future of Hollywood. The exemplar of masculinity. I don't think so. I think that's over. So your 2 casualties, the Mandalorian and Grogu, Pedro Pascal, Dave Filoni. And it's going to be a hard time now going forward for Lucasfilm, because this is shockingly embarrassing. Filoni better have the best Disney Plus show he's ever seen with Ahsoka, or else I think that he is short for this world at Lucasfilm. Fair, unfair, doesn't matter. This must be turned around rapidly. Else they cannot greenlight, they cannot justify to the investors greenlighting anything Star Wars so long as this team is there. So that's the ramifications. That's where we are, folks. You can blame Kathleen Kennedy. You can say, well, it's her fault. You can do all that. It doesn't matter. She's gone. She's out of the equation. Now, Disney has a decision to make. What do they do to fix this? And they have to fix it rapidly. Otherwise, the whole investment, I mean, what else does Lucasfilm do than Star Wars? So you can hand it off to third parties, and you can shut down Lucasfilm essentially. And that might actually be on the table. I mean, I don't know they're going to shut it down. They'll keep staff there enough. I mean, it'd be like the Disney archives over there. It's a sad day for Star Wars, but dropping to 6th place in the 3rd weekend, that's the shock to the system that Disney may need to pull major ripcords. Hang tight, folks. We plan on having lots of coverage of this going forward in the days and weeks to come. I think we're going to start getting leaks. I think Disney's going to start saying, here's what we're going to do. We cannot take this kind of a hit ever again. And if there's one thing I can tell you that Wall Street and Disney don't like, it's being gravely embarrassed. This was gravely embarrassing. This is gravely embarrassing to the point they may just, Lauren may be right, they just may pull it from theaters. Folks, help us send this far and wide. Let people know what's really going on with Star Wars. We would love for you to join in the effort. And all you have to do is move that index finger, whichever one you want to do, right? Pew pew on the mouse or on the phone, the device, whatever you've got. Click that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And if you're not yet subscribed, we're working hard for you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we say every time we get ready to say goodbye on one of these videos, we have to say the line. It's important. It's for you. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.